Hello everybody, so this is day 112 of the Random Towers vs. Chimps series, and I'm going to be starting off by getting a custom map here, which is pretty interesting. So I'm going to have to check out the custom maps, and then our hero will be spun, and we are going to be getting Rosalia, which is interesting. I never really like using Rosalia, even though I found definitely some strengths in her. Not really my favorite hero to use, so we'll be seeing what we will pair with it. Ice Middle Path, which is Absolute Zero, that is super cool. Absolute Zero is definitely one of my favorite towers. And then to round it all off, we do get a little bit of a synergy with the Heli Middle Path, so I'm going to be able to discount that Heli. I guess that's only really a price synergy, but we'll be able to maybe do something with this. So let's check it out. Going at the custom maps, there really aren't a lot of good custom maps this week. There's some like interesting ones, like this one is pretty cool, I guess, but it's really easy. Same with some other ones like those retro throwback ones. This one was really awesome. It has a very good amount of difficulty to it, very unique. I'm really looking forward to playing with this one, but I just came back from vacation and I'm kind of rusty, so rusty that I did this early game and didn't realize that I never even swapped out the hero. So I've been doing this with Ben. Yeah, I think this one's just a little bit beyond my capabilities as for now because I just got back from a week-long vacation. So instead I'm going to be opting for a little bit of an easier map, but I'm favoriting that map and I definitely want to come back and play it with a pretty cool strategy later on. So let's check out this map. I believe this was made by one of my viewers, I think. I really recognize the name of the person who made it. Not sure exactly, so if you're in the comments, just let me know. It's pretty cool. But it's a pretty nice map. This definitely would be like easier advanced, I'd say, just because the amount of line of sight blockers. So I'm going to be starting off with 3 darts and going into my sub. I'm just going to be trying to get like an aircraft carrier for the mid game to be able to save for Rosalia and stuff. The one interesting thing that comes into play here is that I can't like get Rosalia early on, so I'm gonna have to be able to get an ice, and then from there I can build the heli and Rosalia all together. There really isn't like a lot of large placements and definitely a lot of line of sight blockers, so it's a bit of an issue. But yeah, so basically, if you did not know, I was on vacation for the past week. I had videos going out as always, but those were scheduled way far in advance. So my gameplay was a little bit rusty here. I actually had an attempt that was so bad I just cut it out. You won't even get to see that. It involved a 3-2-0 sub. It was that bad. But I got my ship back together and started out with a pretty good start. We're going for this destroyer and reactor as always. There is one kind of very weird and bad play in this, and that's that I alk buff my sub and destroyer, which I thought would be good. I'd get a 4-2 alk and both would get alk buff, but only the reactor was getting alk buff, so I would have had to get 401. But either way, I didn't really need alk buff on them. So yeah, it's just a bit of a waste of money. Like, I could get an unalk buffed aircraft carrier and go straight into Rosalia and the ace, no, not the ace, the heli, without any problem. So it's just a little bit of a mistake that costs quite a bit, but that's all right. So I'm going to be pushing forward there. Then right here I'm going to pause, get the ice, I'm going to place the heli and Rosalia, make sure I can get both of those. And now finally on round 45 or 46, Rosalia is going to be able to get some levels, which will be pretty good. So I still will be able to get some of the good levels for the late game, but it's just going to be a little bit delayed. However, that's not a problem because the map isn't that hard, and I'll be able to get my aircraft carrier up, and then we can do our save up. Coming back here, I grabbed these special populations, and now I'm going to be saving up for the absolute zero. I throw absolute zero over there just because there's really no other places to put it. I could have actually put it right near where Rosalia was. I wanted to at least have its main attack, so that's why I didn't upgrade the ice right there to absolute zero. Plus that one has the incorrect cross path. I need 250 to be able to get this good slow on the Moabs. And with the discount, I was able to save a bit of money here and there, which was pretty nice. So overall, this strategy, it's not like amazing. I'm gonna be saying, I mean, it is random towers. You aren't guaranteed to be getting amazing stuff. There's, I guess, a little bit of a synergy here and there. The absolute zero is just strong, and the special populations is pretty versatile. It's a very, very versatile tower. You can just place the damage kind of anywhere at your will, so it will work out if you can use the towers right, but there's really nothing like really strong holding it together, and there are a lot of weaknesses. So I kind of try to just address all of these weaknesses in one big go by getting carrier flagship and an embrittlement, which is like the DDTs and the single target damage. We do have pretty good cleanup, and the absolute zero can slow down like heavy rounds like 98 pretty well, so that really wasn't the biggest of concerns. But round 100 and the DDTs, we basically didn't really have much to it, and Rosalia didn't really help there at all. So I ended up going for carrier flagship and getting embrittlement. If I were to do this, I could have then gotten the ice kind of there, but that's alright. That's a little bit too late for that. But with this, in theory, I should be able to beat round 100 instead of having to get first strike and a whole bunch of other support to be able to beat the DDTs, which would have probably cost more. Maybe, maybe not. Not really sure. But that's going to be pretty big. And I have to get this really weird embrittlement spot, because for some reason, I can't place towers on the platforms of the boat. I don't know if this is a bug. I was trying a lot. I was trying to place towers on top of there, and it just didn't work. So, well, if someone knows why that's happening, just let me know, and that would be pretty cool. But I'm going to be able to continue on with this and pretty much beat the rest of the game and get a bit of cash spare, which is pretty nice. So overall, nothing too crazy. I'm just coming back in it with a cool random towers versus chimps, so that's pretty neat. Special populations is definitely a really awesome tower. It just takes a lot of work to use correctly. Like, you can plop it down and just place the marine as I'm doing here. This is a pretty like low skill kind of way of using special populations, but if you really want to get the most out of it, you kind of have to go crazy. I do take it off just to lock in place to be able to make use of it for like 98, 99, and then 100 here, but that's pretty much it. But even with this, the map isn't too difficult. I'm able to kind of just use all the towers, push them together, and then I'll be able to get a pretty good amount of cash spare. 40,000 ends up being at the end. But yeah, it's a pretty nice map. Honestly, the decorations kind of go a little bit too overboard, but I'm not going to be complaining much when it comes to the aesthetics of the map, as long as the gameplay is unique, and it was pretty unique with a good amount of line of sight blockers, water, all that mix. Definitely brought in a challenge for the towers that I'm using, having to get that ice platform in the 40s to be able to even place the hero. But luckily, Rosalia actually does a good amount of damage against the bad here, so I can just use the jetpack, and then that level 10 ability, whatever that does a bunch of damage, and I'll be able to hold everything together with the absolute zero at the end. Amazing stall, amazing tower, and I'll be able to win. So that was Random Towers versus Chimps day 112, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching. If you want to help out the channel, you can check out these new videos, like and subscribe for more content, support the channel by becoming a member, and joining the Discord to chat with the community. Bye!